Hello and good day. This is Punchline. We are First News Nation. We talk about national politics here, and it's always an exciting time when we discuss politics. When we talk, you give your observations in the comment section, and I'll be very, very glad if you do so. How do you do that? Just go to all our social media handles: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Just take a step further, enable notifications on all these platforms. So every time we have a new episode of the show, you will be one of the first to know. I am Sammy Ajufo. Thanks for joining us as usual. Straight into the meat of the matter. The embattled central bank governor, former central bank governor, the only central bank governor in Nigeria's history, while as governor of central bank, contested for president or was rumored to want to get interested in politics. That's the first time we ever heard that. The first CBN governor in Nigeria's history to serve 2 tenures. None has done before him. Probably others might serve like he did, or maybe some people do 3 tenures. You don't really know. By the way, you know, this is Nigeria. But we're talking about Godwin Emefiele, former CEO of a bank, was moved to become the central bank governor after the embattled former CBN governor who moved on to become the emir of Kano. But that's not the conversation right now. Godwin Emefiele was suspended in the first few days of President Tinubu's administration, President Tinubu's administration. And, you know, it became a very hot story. And a lot of people were expecting that, you know, as he has been suspended, then we hear the EFCC, the ICPC swing into action. Definitely, the EFCC swung into action, you know, and what was expected that we'll hear financial impropriety, abuse of office, you know, things like that we usually hear, especially being that he was the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. However, after being arrested by either the EFCC or the DSS, one of them held him. We saw recently that Emefiele appeared in court, in a high court in Lagos. Now, that is the video you're watching right now, him appearing at the high court premises in Lagos, Nigeria. And guess what the count charge was? Emefiele was put on trial. 2 count charge. Number 1 count for having an unlicensed single-barreled shotgun. The governor of the central bank has a gun. That was the first charge. The second charge is that he was caught with 23 rounds of live ammunition in a location in Lagos. We don't know whether it's his house somewhere in Ikoyi, Lagos. So the governor of the central bank has a gun. And to many, it's like, so how many people don't have guns in their house? Well, the charge was that it was not licensed. So how did you know he had a gun that was not licensed in his house? that really. But it's disappointing to a lot of people because what they were hoping to hear was that he stole 2 trillion, 5 billion, 600 billion, all this billion, trillion, that, or signed off contracts or loans or whatever. But Emefiele's crime was that he had a gun. I'm just giving it space so it sinks in that the Central Bank of Nigeria, the number 1 banker in Nigeria, his crime was that he had a gun. And, well, he was put in front of a court and he was accused. And they said they found this out in June this year, June 2023. That's when Emefiele was found out to have 23 rounds of live ammunition in his house. When was he kicked out? After May 29th, a few days after May 29th, you know the date. And he was kicked out, but nothing was found. He was arrested immediately. But it was in June they found live ammunition in the house. As usual with many things in Nigeria, things don't add up. 1 + 1 in Nigeria has never been 2, will never be 2. So why is that crime? It's a crime. It's a crime. Let's not dispute that. Well, with all the talk about Emefiele, even before, remember that during President Buhari's administration, Emefiele was rumored to be chased around by the DSS for supporting terrorism and whatever. And we heard a lot of things about ammunitions. But now it comes true. So it is wrong to hold an unlicensed weapon, which is true. But it's also wrong that you are a CBN governor and you're holding an unlicensed record. So we see the video of that here appearing in the court. After he was granted bail, a bail of 20 million naira, and he must present a surety in like sum of 20 million naira. The next thing that happened shocked a lot of people. He was granted bail, which means he's allowed to go free. Maybe he goes back to the prisons and signs a few documents and leaves with his lawyers. Then the DSS swoop in to whisk him away. This is Nigeria, where our politics is like a badly written movie script. It's always happened this way. A court of competent jurisdiction will give a ruling, and the security agencies will say, damn your ruling. Former president went to a Nigerian Bar Association event and said, sometimes the constitution doesn't matter. Said something like that. So what we see today is that Emefiele is going through the same thing that the likes of Sowore went through, the likes of Nnamdi Kanu went through, the likes of Colonel Dasuki went through. The court has ruled, in fact, El Zazaki as well, the court has ruled, release this man, he should pay a bail, and then DSS swoops in. DSS, it's not just swooping in, they had the fight with the Nigerian Correctional Service. That is the video you're looking at right now. They had an open fight over Emefiele. They are going to take him eventually, they overpowered them and took Emefiele away. Same thing has happened to Nnamdi Kanu. Same thing has happened to Sowore. The DSS coming to take someone away, even though the court has ruled. So why are we serious about this court issue when it comes to elections, when on a normal day, the court is not respected? Question for the gods. Similar occurrences have happened. So do we respect the law in Nigeria? Do we respect the courts in Nigeria? If the ruling of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal comes to favor any of these other people who are not in the ruling party, will the courts be respected? Will the ruling be respected? If this is what happens on a normal day with any person of interest in the political scene, they will hold you down. That's what's going on in the Nigerian political scene, right? And that's what's happening to the embattled former CBN governor. How long had he had this gun, Mr. Emefiele? What are you using it for? To protect yourself? Shouldn't the CBN governor have security people around him, you know, all the sirens and helices and all the, you know, convoys? Remember the convoy of the president that we saw in Lagos? You know, I'm sure the CBN governor will have a tightened security around it. What does he need a gun for? How long has he had the gun? How long have you known he had a gun? Many questions in Nigeria. Nigeria's politics is all question marks. No comma, no full stop. It always ends up in a question mark. How long did you know he had a gun? Why does he need to have a gun? Why did you just discover that in June? June, last month. That's when you discovered it. Did he have a gun when he was the bank CEO of a bank? I think First or Senate Bank. Was he? Did he have a gun? Now he has a gun. What does the CBN governor have to do with the gun? And why didn't he license the gun, Mr. Emefiele? Who did he buy the gun from? Another deep question I want to ask. I need to remove my glasses like my Nollywood movie to ask this. Has he ever brought that gun to threaten anyone? Has he come out on the street and said, he'll bring out the bat, yeah, I'm going to kill people here? Has there ever been a report that the CBN governor brandished a gun to any of his house assistant or his maid guard or no security, or maybe the chef didn't cook something good? He brought out his gun and said, I get gun, I will shoot you here. Really funny that the #1 banker in Nigeria was suspended. And everybody will be thinking financial crimes will be exposed. In a country where the word billion, trillion always falls out, like you hear one man stole 300 billion. That's what everyone was expecting to hear. Not that the CBN governor is being arrested because he had a gun with 23 rounds of ammunition. Then we need to blame nobody else but Hollywood, all the Hollywood movies that make you keep your gun in your house. I mean, CBN governor. Or should we say the CBN governor was trying to protect our money? People wanted to steal the money, and he brought a gun to protect the money. But everyone needs protection in a country where security situation is widespread. But having an unlicensed weapon is a no-no. And if that is a crime he's going to be facing, it's fine. But if it's for that, then his lawyers should just, his lawyers should fight for him. But how would they when the DSS has taken him away? Emefiele will not be out of the conversation anytime soon. And there are other conspiracy theories, but I don't want to talk about that. You should say what you have to say in the comment section below. Go ahead, drop it. I'll be here to read them and probably talk about them in future episodes. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget, like and subscribe to all our social media handles: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Everything you see here. Go a step further. Enable notifications on all these platforms so you could get latest updates of our shows. I'm Sammy Ajufo. Thanks for joining us. Next episode will be fire. I promise you. It's about two men who are fighting and the entire region, or maybe one state, that is suffering. Do all you can to stay safe. See you next week.